Okay, so just gonna try and run through this here. Here's our piston, basically, pretty standard diesel piston. Mostly worried about the compression rings, the oil ring on these. Pretty easily can slide over the back of the piston like this and go into the bottom groove. So that's not a big deal there. This is the tool I've been working with. Got this on Amazon for like 15 bucks. What I like about it compared to the plier type is this will actually kind of hold the ring in place when you go to put it on. What I'm struggling with here is the angle of here, the angle of the grip, trying to pull back on that and then hold things all in one go. So what you can do is you can take a ring and nest it in the pliers, and that's good. So this direction, like here, it'll hold it well. If you turn it around, it likes to tip. So that's not good, but you work it this way, it'll hold it in place pretty well. So the jaws are kind of grabbing the ring up here, and then in this section here, that's what's going to push and open the ring up. So when you get it nested in there right, you can open your ring up pretty easily. Now on this one, there's no stop built in to control how far you can do it. I could probably squeeze this thing far enough to break the ring, and that's obviously not something we'd want. So you can put it in here, nest it in, holds it nice. Then you can take your piston and ring in, snap it on like that. So that works pretty good. Drops it in there. Not too big of a deal. You can use this tool then to take them back off if you make a mistake, though I have found that is a little bit trickier of an operation, but there, you can do it. So bring it in, kind of nest it in like that. I'm sure if you did this a few more times, you could do that pretty quick. That holds it well. Open it up. You can kind of feel it go in on the back there. Drop it in. You can do your next one. Load your ring. Open it up. Put it in. Drop it on. So that's pretty easy. So what I don't like about this is ergonomically, you got really narrow grips on here. So when you're trying to grab it and hold it, you spread your hand out really far and then trying to bear claw it down, and it needs to have some sort of stop. But even just this grip and squeeze thing repeatedly over a work shift, I could see that getting pretty tiresome and difficult. Kind of move this in here so you can kind of see that squeezing operation. I'm trying to take it off now, so it's a little bit tougher, but there we go. That squeezing operation is not good. So my thought is, in a perfect world, what we would do is have a similar jaw design to this with a stop built in, and then some type of actuator that would do this movement here. Almost, if you can imagine, like some actuator in between here that would do the squeezing for you, and have this whole thing perhaps mounted like on a pistol grip, so that you can just pull the trigger and have the jaws squeezed to the stop, and then line up and put your ring on. So you would still just load the ring in by hand, and then you would use your pistol grip to open it up to a preset dimension, and then go put that in and let it off. The other thing I thought of too is if you had the right little fixture piece, you could almost then take that tool and slide it over your ring to clip in and grab a ring, almost like you've got a stack. You clip it in, grab a stack, pull the actuator to open the ring up, and then you put it on. And then you could use the same set of jaws to do any different rings. You would just have your stop set vary depending on how much you want to open up your ring for the piston that you're putting it on. So, kind of taking this back off here. I mean, I wouldn't let taking rings off be a design consideration. I mean, it's nice, but 9 times out of 10, you're not going to do that. Just doing it here now for the ease of showing. So, like I say, looking for a reasonably efficient way to primarily actuate this without having the operator do this squeezing thing. And then perhaps if there was a way to fixture and stack up a ring where you could just clip your, there we go. Clip your ring in, get that tight and set, pull your trigger, the ring opens up to the stop, you put it back in there, and away she goes. Then you either by hand or off your stack, load up your next ring, actuate it, and go like that. I will say that once this thing is nested in there in this configuration and opened up, it's pretty stout. It doesn't want to pop out or shoot out or anything like that. It grabs on pretty well. So that's the good thing about it, the way it holds the ring and does that. I think the way those jaws are optimized is nice, and how that works. It's just that ergonomically doing this thing is uncomfortable and would get tiring, repetitive, and then perhaps it can be a little bit cumbersome to take the ring and try and line it up in here with 2 hands and get that to work that way. So the only other thing played with a little bit is like on this piston, it's got this groove in here, which is, you got to be careful if you go and you grab your ring and you load it in your pliers and you open it up and you go to put it on and you don't land it the right place, you can land inside that ring and now it's all jammed up and could potentially scratch your piston or do damage to it that way. So I'll grab 2. So that's a consideration, but right now that hasn't been as difficult. What I found I was able to do without a whole lot of trouble is to take this thing, open it up, and then I can almost feel in the back and set it in and let it come on, and then it goes right in. It doesn't scratch anything up. So while you could probably get fancy with some stops or a little fixture for that, maybe, that's not as, to me, not as primary as having a good way to do this routine. So, all right.